Empty the chamber on them. And how do you do that? First 6 seconds, point A to point B, everything you got. Everything you got. Turn that shit up. Let's go.
Welcome to the Scoop World Order Barton and Bank edition. We're going to go over what was maybe the biggest recruiting weekend in Ohio State history in terms of pomp and circumstance. Notre Dame night game. NFL has an open week, so the stars were out in force. And of course, an appearance from King James himself, a guy that was the A-lister among the A-listers down on the sideline. We're going to show you a little bit of that. Some of the craziness was going on with LeBron. But first, as always, thank you guys. We appreciate you guys. We're thankful for you guys. Our YouTube just passed a new record in subscribers today. Thank you so much. We are currently having one of our biggest days ever on YouTube, so thank you for that as well. Please, if you enjoy this content, leave us a like. It's a huge help for us. Pass the word along about our channel. We love it. In the comments below, which recruit do we need to round out this class that was here this weekend? Is it Mateo? Is it Keon Keeley? There are some big-time players here. There are some big-time 24s here, 25s here. Dylan Raiola was here. Huge weekend. So if we got to talk recruiting, I'm going to bring in my man, the Bank, Bill Greene. Bank, how are you today?
Good, man. Real good.
Good, man. Obviously, you watched the game. I didn't predict that we would have that low scoring of a game. I was way off with 55-35, way off. But I was very pleased with the defense. I was pleased that we were able to kind of pound them, ground and pound them at the end. That was really good. Me and TJ broke that down last night. Real quick, your thoughts on the game for people that haven't heard your thoughts on the game, and then we'll get into this big recruiting extravaganza.
Yeah, I don't get too wrapped up in technical stuff in week one. Week one, when you play a big-time opponent, you have to win, okay? Mm-hmm. Notre Dame has made the playoffs before. They're behind the 8 ball right now in making the playoffs, So I just you have to win, okay? So what you saw this weekend, this is not going to be the Ohio State team we see in, November, and it better not be, because if it is, they're not going to make the playoffs. Okay. So I don't get too wrapped up in like everybody right now is giving the national title to Georgia after destroying Oregon. I mean, that was a hell of a performance, but it doesn't mean much. You know what I mean? To me, it doesn't. Mm-hmm. I mean, they're 1-0, and that's cute. I mean, that's good, but get beat by LSU, get beat by somebody along the way, and then all of a sudden that Oregon wins means nothing. So I don't get too wrapped up in week one. I think especially when you play a big-time opponent like Ohio State did, this wasn't opening up with Akron or Arkansas State. This is a big-time team, so you had to win, and they won. So you build on the things that you didn't like. You keep improving the things you did like, but in terms of like this game, meaning Ohio State is obviously going to be the national champion or obviously won't make the playoffs, it has no bearing on that other than you won. You got to win these games. You can't, last year you lose to Oregon, you're behind the 8 ball from the rest of the way out. So they won, and that was great. And, Georgia's not today who they're going to be in November. Neither's Ohio State, neither's anyone. You have to keep getting better. So, to use the Urban Meyer quote, 1-0, get you on the way to 2-0. So,
yeah, I totally agree. I think that it's nice to get the win, but we don't have any idea how good Notre Dame is. They could end up being a 5-loss outfit, 7-5, and we look back at that end of the year. It's like, again, I talk about when I played Texas in week 2 in 06, not in 05 when they had Vince Young. They ended up being a 7-5 team that lost the Alamo Bowl. So I mean, everybody was loving us because we beat the number 1 team in the country down at Texas, but it turns out they weren't very good, So at the end of the year, you kind of look back at some of these preseason rankings and you're just like, what were these pollsters thinking? So and again, the biggest thing coming down the stretch is you got to stay healthy, because we've got Jackson Smith and Jigba is dinged up, and Matt Jones got his ankle rolled, and Luke Whippler got his ankle rolled, and Enoch ran in ice cold and really played well for 3 plays before Matt came back in, but Matt got rolled up pretty good. I mean, that's why he came out of the game, and Enoch went running in there. But every good team is one Stetson Bennett injury or one CJ Stroud injury away from not being real good. So I think health is just as important as continual improvement. We're gonna get into this crazy recruiting weekend. I'm actually gonna pull up our LeBron video. So I was there. I saw the insanity of LeBron James kind of doing his thing down here. Nevada, what were your initial takes coming back from this game? Obviously, it was a circus. It was wild. There were some big time guys in there. What were some of the initial intel you've gotten from this weekend?
Yeah, the main thing is, those 2023 DNs. We had the story that Keon Keeley was going to decommit from Notre Dame and definitely going to visit Ohio State. He did. My Florida guys, who you love and respect, are convinced he's going to Bama. They've always been convinced he's going to flip and go to Bama. But I have a really good source close to the Ohio State stuff that feels Ohio State has more than a fighting chance for Keon Keeley. And Ohio State does official visits so darn well, so and that's all you can ask for. Get him on campus, you shoot your shot, and you see what it gets you. I checked with my OSU source late last night, and I said, what are your thoughts on Keon Keeley? And he said, I like Damon Wilson and Mateo Uyangale better. So, I think they had a great visit. I think they did the best they can. And now you got to hope, when the Bama visit takes place, that he compares the two and he thinks Ohio State's the best place for him.
Yeah, I think we're in great shape with Mateo, just from what I know and hear, and I also think that we've got a real shot to finish out with some big time stuff here. You see Brian Hartline. See, the good thing about B Hart is that he was able to play in Miami and in Cleveland at the same time as LeBron, so it's like he's got a little bit of stuff to him. And you see over here, you see Brandon Innis, and this is the cool part is Brian kind of lays the traction here. You got Pantoni over here, who LeBron has no idea who Mark Pantoni is. He's there with Ennis and all these kids. But Hart was there in Miami. He's from the 330, like me and you are, Bank. And you got your boys over here. You got Ennis. You got all the big time dudes, and they all want to meet LeBron. So you'll see in a minute. Like Brian lays the groundwork perfectly. Because LeBron's he's like Fort Knox. He's got cops, and he's got the whole crew around him. He goes over here and sees Gene for a second, and but you'll see why B Hart is the number one recruiter in the country, because he makes sure that his guys come over and get to meet LeBron, Brandon, and all those South Florida kids, because they all want to meet LeBron, and they all don't want to be the weirdos that go up to him when they're not supposed to. But B Hart kind of paves the road real quick for him and makes it real cool. Coming out of this weekend, any stock up, stock down in terms of guys you think could commit? Do you still think that guys like Mateo are going to be a second signing day type guys? You're stretching it out a little bit.
Yeah, Mateo, they've done everything they can. You know what I mean? Yep. I think you feel that way too. They've fought a great fight. The relationships are there. I think he knows exactly what Ohio State can do for him. You just got to hope it's good enough. Does he want to stay close to home? If he does, you can't beat that. Does that music influence of USC, does that tip the scales? If it does, you can't beat it. There's Oregon. I know, he likes Oregon a lot. And Uncle Phil up there can make NIL magic work. And Dan Landing's a heck of a recruiter. He can tell him, we need you. You'll be my Kayvon Thibodeau. You'll start next year. There's a lot of different aspects here. But Ohio State has done everything right. They've done everything they need to do to land Mateo Uyangale. You got to see if it's good enough now. I mean, they shot their shot, but with this kid not committing again until or signing until probably the first signing day in December, you got a long way to go, man, until you get there. So, I like their chances there. I think if Mateo had to sign today, I think it'd be with Ohio State. So I think they've got the lead. You got to hang on. With Damon Wilson, I think they're getting him. I don't know that. I wish my guys from Florida would have told me that they're getting him, but they don't know. And it's unusual that they don't know. But I think, man, if I had to make a prediction today, gun to my head, I think they're getting Damon Wilson. So,
I mean, that would be an outstanding get, obviously, just from, you got to restock these defensive ends. We're going to lose Zach Harrison, which not a huge loss, but, in 2 years, I mean, you potentially could lose JT and Jack, if they keep kind of progressing. And those guys, they're not surefire 3-and-out guys, but they definitely could be if they keep progressing. And Jack Sawyer, he graded out as the champion. It was disruptive. He had 3. I guess unofficially he had 3 tackles they credited him for and a pass deflection. So I mean, no missed assignments. It seemed like he had a pretty good game. So here, this is the part I want to show you. This is why your boy Heartline's the number one guy. So your boy B Hart's over here, bringing in the boys, up to LeBron. Hey, LeBron. Hey, LeBron. I got my guys. There's your boy. There's your boy Ennis with the specs on. So all of his, again, and it's weird sometimes to do something like this, but when these are your guys and these are your 5-star receivers and they really want to beat LeBron, Brian's fine with being that guy and saying, "Hey, LeBron, can you say what's up to my boys real quick?" And they all want to dap him up. They all want to get a photo. And you got to remember, like, Brian is up against it because there's a clock up there that says, okay, the receivers are coming out in 3 minutes. Notre Dame is literally taking the field. So Brian's got to go do his job. He's got to go coach. So it's like, he knows that he's up against it and he's got to go squeeze it out. Because Notre Dame's team's literally running by while his recruits are meeting LeBron. But it's better just to do it and knock it out. And these guys all get their photos. But it was just like, I literally recorded this whole thing because it kept getting like more hilarious and funnier. And here comes Luke. Luke again. It was like he's like the Mike Bruce, the modern day Mike Brewster, the cock of the walk, where he's like walking around talking to LeBron, talking to Bronny, brings Keon Keeley over. And again, it turns into like a hurricane here in a second of people. But I was just enjoying it. I was like, man, I really wanted to stop filming it, but it just was so good. Yeah. And I was like, I gotta keep this thing rolling, even though I don't really want to. So we're gonna.
Out about Luke Montgomery, for people who don't know, Luke's basketball time, he was playing for the team LeBron for many, many years. So that kind of, because someone could be watching this thinking, why the heck is LeBron talking to some old lineman? But why?
Yeah, he played for whatever, if it's King James, I don't know what the name of the AAU team is, but like he's played for that team for a long time. So this isn't like, some happenstance thing. Like he's been, playing on Bronny's team and traveling, and there's little Montgomery, and like I said, all these, everybody wants to get a photo with LeBron, but I'm gonna switch gears. Here comes RJ Day. RJ Day is great because he's got the floppy hair and the sling, so he's really easy to find too. So RJ gets the love. You got the linebacker who's in from out of town getting the love. But again, like that's just I think LeBron knows what he's getting into when he comes down on the sideline at Ohio State, and all these kids. Yeah, these kids all idolize him. And, if you're Mark Pantoni and Ryan Day, I mean, you got to get as much juice out of it as you can because, you might not get him back this year. And, with Burrow.
Did Pantoni get pushed to the ground or anything or run over?
Oh, no, that's right at the beginning. So this is great. So Pantoni, where's Pantoni at? He's like right. Oh, God. Oh, there he is. He's right there. So there's Mark, he's trying to get through, and he's like the guy trying to get into the club, and the bouncer's like, "Sorry, sir, we don't know who you are." So the cop's like, he's like, "Oh," he's like trying to explain it. He's like, "I've been here for 10 years." And they got Austin Seyerveld on them, so he's got like the accountant looking dude with him. So like they get shushed back, like this guy is like. He has no idea who Mark is. He's like, get him back, everybody back, because Notre Dame's, again, there's a game that has to be played, so you see the players come running out here, and but again, that's part of the balancing the circus act, which is why it's kind of funny and it's kind of hilarious when you've got this massive cluster down on the field of recruits and former.
Got an autograph or something. Maybe Luke Montgomery got an autograph for Pantoni.
I bet he probably did. He probably said, "Luke, can you have my little pass sign?" Because I don't know where Pantoni went, but he was working it.
He's still in there. He's working his way back now.
There he is. Yep.
Yeah, he slid back. He'll probably get arrested.
It was him and Ed Terwilliger. They're trying, man. They're like, "Oh, we got all these 5-stars here. They're all trying to get over here to Braun, and it's just so funny when you like. I was watching this and like I was like I couldn't stop. Keon Keeley, and then the players come out and. Again, it's silly, it's fun, but when you're watching, you can't believe how wild this is.
Yeah, and when you cut to the chase here, there's no other school in America had that last weekend. Everybody has live crowds. Everybody's got environment, the atmosphere. Nobody had that, but Ohio State.
Yeah, nobody has LeBron. LeBron is like he's the and the funniest thing is he didn't even go here, but he's just from Ohio and he loves Ohio State and. Kind of the whole shebang with that. Absolutely. But I got a little highlight reel from week 2. Some of these kids put some stuff up, so we're going to go through this a little bit. My boy Kane Lee, he's on every week. He's number 4. He's down here in the little deal. He's a physical kid. I really love him because he comes up and run support and just whacks this guy again. Bam. You know?
Yeah.
Nice cut tackle.
He's not a big guy.
Yeah. I mean, but again, he plays with a lot of juice, a lot of intensity. That was like something I loved about Jack Sawyer and JT2 and Lowell is they had a lot of juice. Like, I mean, they bring in Mike Hall. Those guys bring a lot of energy when they step on the field, and it's something that I think we lacked last year. Here he is, diagnosing a bubble screen, forcing a fumble. Great play here. I like this kid. I mean, he pops. I mean, this is every week. This is a weekly highlight film he puts up, but there's always a couple of like nice plays that he makes where, you know, the last one's just him in a back pedal. I don't even know why this is on the highlight reel. Maybe he just wanted to show off his footwork, I guess. But
that's
he's just down here.
That's what he's known for. He's known as a cover guy.
Mm-hmm. But he throws it up in there, man.
Good to see him take people on and tackle.
Yeah.
It's just hard.
Those
corners, they don't really get into that type of stuff.
Yeah, here's Josh. Again, you know, it's hard because, like, I don't feel like if you're a good offensive lineman in high school, you're ever going to play guard. It's almost like a waste. You gotta kind of put him out at tackle. But he's a center all the way, as you know. Yeah. Good athlete, tough kid. You know, I mean, I think he's a guy who can get some stuff done. Again, like nobody realized how good Josh Meyer was, you know, versus Wyatt Davis, but Josh Myers is going to get a huge extension in Green Bay, right. and Wyatt's on the practice squad right now. I mean, Wyatt, like, and I love Wyatt's like my little brother. I love him to death, but like he's kind of, he's got to get tightened up because once you're down to the practice squad and you don't get claimed on waivers, it's tough sledding. Yeah. I mean, nobody was as excited to get Josh as they were Wyatt, but again, guys got to stay healthy. Wyatt's been dinged with injuries, and he's a guy that if he would have sat out, he'd be like Jamar Chase or Micah Parsons. He'd probably been a first-round pick, but he came back, got hurt, didn't put out good film, and he hasn't been the same player. But Josh plays some defense, which I love. I think that's always a nice plus. And it's something that it shows a little bit of versatility. This kid is a monster. Calvin Simpson Hunt. You like him, Bank?
I do. And again, he's another guy known for his coverage ability. So it's good to see if these guys come up and run support and hit people.
Yeah, he is not scared at all.
A lot of length to him, or Keon Lee would be a little shorter, and this guy's long.
Yeah. He'd bring in and boom. So it's like, you might want to check the corner when these guys are coming, but the quarterback doesn't quite see this guy creeping up on the edge. Like, I don't think he's going to be covering anybody who is in that tight, but again, it's just, I love guys that like to blitz and get sacks, and they play nasty. He's real fluid. I love watching his tape. Again,
he's long.
Jamming him out of bounds. It's fun watching some of these guys because, again, I love corners because without corners, you're not going to beat anybody. Right. You got to have good corners. And modern football, as you know, it's a passing game, and if those guys are out there getting scorched, you have no shot. Here he is covering a kick, getting a guy on the ground. Again, I'll take it. These guys got to learn to play special teams when they're young guys. All right, here's my favorite. Here's my boy, our boy Ennis, returning the kickoff. Everyone says he's slow and he's an H-back. Your boy Ricky calls him the H-back. He thinks he's going to be a fat tight end because he eats too much. But he takes us to the crib, man. And this isn't in New Philadelphia. This is in South Florida. So, I mean, the guys on the field are fast. This isn't Dublin, Ohio. This is some real fast dudes. And he takes it to the crib. And then got my baby on here, Malachi Tony. This is actually the longest one. I mean, he's 14, and he's out here. This is last week. And again, I can't imagine this kid doesn't get offered by Ohio State like tonight, tomorrow, soon. He's got A&M, and once A&M goes, it's kind of like everybody has to go.
It's coming. They're going to offer him. I guarantee it.
Yeah, and for people that don't know, he wears an Ohio State decal on the back of his helmet, and super tight with Brandon Ennis. The crazy thing is he has 3 more years left in high school, which is like, it's almost absurd that we're watching this kid and we're caring about this kid. But when a kid gets when he's a 14-year-old and gets offered by A&M, you got to pay attention. And he's a big Ohio State fan. He was going to come to the game, wasn't able to work it out. But there's always those phenoms that are good enough to play. As you said, Bank, these kids in Florida can play in 8th grade.
He'll be at Ohio State. I mean, for a visit, because the South Florida Express, they'll make at least one visit a year to Ohio State, and he'll be with them. And the next time he comes up, next year, Innocent Tate will be on campus.
Yeah, and then and Q Fletcher too, his teammate, the running back. So I mean, yeah, it's funny when you watch this tape. You also see Brandon, you also see Fletcher. Look, there's Brandon. This is great. Brandon, like he's burning a couple calories, by just watching him run into the end zone. But celebrate. He's gonna trot over there and say, "Hey, good job, buddy." But and this is the team that was in Georgia, Lowndes or whatever. But they 5-hour bus ride. This kid's 14, jumps off the bus, ready to rock, and really they kicked the mess out of this team. They got this pretty big time Georgia football. I mean, Georgia might have the best players in the country per capita. I mean, you look at Trevor Lawrence and Justin Fields and the linemen and the safeties and the skill. Yeah, it's like when you watch Georgia football and you watch them versus Oregon is a little different than the West Coast.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No doubt.
And we got one last crack here. This is your boy JoJo. So I got JoJo Trader here. This is some fanciness right here. So this is him. He's coming around the bend and he chucks it. So I mean,
wow. This
is nifty. This is some nifty stuff from your boy JoJo. Another South Florida Express kid. Chucks a touchdown pass, on Aquinas' field. So it's like, hey, put it right on the money.
That's good. Yeah, JoJo, I think, is going to be a corner at the college level and a darn good one, but he might still think he's a receiver right now. And the way that, my guys describe him is that he would be a very good college receiver, but an elite college cornerback. So, and I think college coaches see him that way too.
Well, I'll tell you, if you can be an elite corner, you're going to get paid. So, yeah. I mean, if there's one position, if you're 50-50 and you're good enough to play like a high level corner, I'm taking corner all day, man. I'm telling you, those guys, those guys are, Jalen Ramsey's making like $25 million this year to be a cover guy, and it's hard to get a receiver up to that number. But yeah, he's a dynamic dude. Not a lot of steps of defense though, but they throw it out to him and he does his thing. So I'm gonna lock this thing down real quick. As always, Bank, we're gonna lock this thing down. I appreciate you. Any closing comments on this weekend? We got a little bit of a break in the action with before Wisconsin with Arkansas State and with Toledo. Your thoughts on the Buckeyes going forward the next 2 weeks? Obviously, you got to sit Jackson Smith and Jigba probably the next 2 weeks, get them ready. Any young guys you're looking forward to seeing against Arkansas State this weekend?
I want to see Emeka Egbuka and Marvin Harrison get more separation than they got the other day. I didn't. You didn't see the Garrett Wilson, Chris Olave running, just beating this guy like a drum. You didn't see that. Notre Dame had a true freshman cornerback out there a lot too, and that guy did really well. So, there were a lot of completions for CJ Stroud, but most of them were short passes. I didn't see a lot of separation. Thought the windows were really tight. So that's what I want to see this week. Just beat those DBs to a pulp and get some separation out there. So that's about it. I mean, this is going to be a scrimmage. Like you said, don't get anyone hurt. None of the starters you need. And the one thing I did want to mention too is, and I guess we almost say this every year, but I don't say it every year. But the 2024 class, like in 2020, people always say, 2021, we're going to kill it. Then in 2021, you say 2022, man, that's when Stud's going to get everybody. No. But I'm telling you, the 2024 class is so set for Ohio State. And I like the 2023 group, and they're not done. But 2024 is good because they're in on so many of these national guys, JoJo Trader, JJ Smith, KJ Bolden. But the in-state class in Ohio is the best group of in-state recruits at the top in maybe the past decade. I mean, this is a great group of 2024's in-state. And if you can do the Jim Tressel thing and lock up your in-state guys early, then you can just head national and just make a killing. So that's what I'm really looking for out of 2024. I'm looking to see some, in the next 2, 3, 4 months, see some of these Ohio kids jump on board. There could be more offers coming too in Ohio. They've already got a bunch of them out. And I expect there could be a few more too. So 2024, and I really feel foolish saying that because everybody's done it for the last 10 years. It's always the next class is going to be the one. But this time, I think the next class is going to be the one. I think 2024 is going to be, they're always good. I mean, Ryan Day, Urban Meyer, Jim Trout, they always know how to recruit. But, man, I just think they're so set in 2024 that there might even be some hard decisions that have to be made on who gets offered, who gets taken, and, man, who you got almost might have to say no to. A guy, you may say no to somebody in 2024 that you would have taken in 2022 or 2023. So just wanted to throw that out there now. And I'm usually not a next year guy, but right now I'm kind of a next year guy.
Does it help when you have Dylan Raiola anchoring that class, and then you've got J.J. Smith likely in the fold as the number one receiver in the country?
Of course. I mean, I loved Mike Brewster back in the day, and Luke Montgomery's the greatest kid in the world right now, but people don't gravitate to offensive linemen. J.J. Smith is not coming to Ohio State because of Luke Montgomery. As much as I love Luke and the family and all that, he's doing a great job. He's making calls, texts, not the same as when it's Dylan Raiola, okay, or Trevor Lawrence or someone like that. So the QB is definitely the leader, So as much as we appreciate everybody else doing their job, doing their part, man, when you got that top QB, top player in the country, and he's making texts and calls, which Dylan is, as you know, I mean, you need everything going for you in recruiting. And that's just another chip, another piece of the puzzle. Bring LeBron back in again. That's another chip, so you gotta use every single thing you can use. That anything that's an advantage for you, you better use it.
Yeah, I totally agree. And I was carried to, my gold pants by Troy Smith. So he's a year older than me, but he's the guy that won those Michigan games, him and those skill guys. Like the linemen, it's great, but I could pancake my guy every single play, and we're not going to beat Michigan if our skill guys if Santonio Holmes and Teddy and Troy isn't scrambling and making plays, and Gonzo and Beanie and Pitt. Like the skill guys, I mean, I love line play, and you have to have a great line as always. But I tell Santonio and Ted, those guys, all the time, like, look, without you guys, we don't win that game in 05, 06, 04. You guys got to go out and make plays, because I can only do so much blocking. You need guys that are going to go get open and take the game over. And that's why a guy like Dylan is exciting, because he can throw it. He's polished as any quarterback who's come out of high school maybe ever. And he is a student of the game, and he's a leader, and he's a tough kid. And his dad was a tough SOB, a monster at Nebraska. And I played with him in Detroit, and he was one of the fiercest competitors, leaders I've ever been around. And his son is the same exact way. So, all right. With all that being said, I'm going to lock this thing down. I appreciate you, Bank. As always, a fantastic effort tonight. We are growing like crazy on BuckeyeScoop.com. We appreciate you guys so much. Comment, which recruit do we need to lock down this class? Who do we need to get? What positions? Is it offensive tackle? Is it defensive end? We have some monsters in town this weekend. Who do you want to see commit to the Buckeyes? And give me your thoughts on the LeBron thing. If you enjoyed watching LeBron, and if you think he was a big help, not a big help, love your thoughts on that. Appreciate you guys as always. Thank you so much, Scoop family. Be sure to click on that like button. Click on subscribe. Appreciate you guys as always. Thank you, Buckeye Nation. You guys have a great rest of your day. Go Bucks.